Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In the last video, we looked at the top 5 cheap OP strikers, and now we look at the top 5 cheap OP midfielders. So if you're ready and you've hit the like button and subscribe, let's get into it. So here we are with our first midfielder, Pizzi from Benfica. So as you can see here on his pro side, he has high medium work rates, which is always good for a centre midfielder. I'd honestly partner him up with someone in the midfield, seeing as he's not that tall. But he has good dribbling and he has good shooting. And he has good passing as well, which is what you need for a midfielder, obviously. Being agile on the ball, being able to link up the play, turn, move is what you need, and it's very vital. And having that 4-star weak foot means that he's more likely to pass off either foot, which is always helpful in tight situations where you get pressed by two players at once. The only cons I can really see is you've got 3-star skill moves, so although he might not be a player that you're bombing up forward with, just having that ability to maybe have more skill moves would have been better for him. But 3 stars okay, you can still do the basics like ball rolls, roulettes and things like that, but having just that little bit more would have added so much more value to his card, especially even though I said he has okay league links and nation links, because of the defender increase of pace on centre backs, especially players like Pepe. I know there's also a Brazilian defender that's in Liga NOS, which can link to him pretty well. But still, just having those and being in the league that he's in, it doesn't really give you that much variety of player, and also to be able to use the best players in the game. With his nation, although he can link to the likes of Sanchez, who's also in this video, it still doesn't really give you much unless you're going for a full Portuguese team. So I say that using Pizzi is a good option, but also remember that for a starter squad he probably won't be in your team for that long, but he might be able to help you get out of those divisions. So up next we have Birch. As you can see from his pro side, he has good height, being at 6'2", 6'3", which is always going to be good for winning the balls in the midfield from headers, and also winning the balls from corners as well, to head the ball out or head the ball in. He also has medium work rate, which means he'll just sit there in the centre of midfield, more of a sort of DM, CM sort of position where he can just link the play, and that's also where his good physical and good dribbling comes into it. And I guess he's got decent passing as well as decent shooting, so he's kind of an all-rounded card this year. Obviously we had his 82 rated Squad Foundations card last year, which is also really good, linking up to the likes of the flashback Robben, and so on and so forth, and the Van Bergen, I think it was, that came out with him as well. So obviously having that is also really good, just having a solid midfielder. But going on to his con side, he's only got 3-star, which isn't the be all end all in the world. But I guess to have that agility, although he has good dribbling, just having that little bit more where you can pass off either foot and you don't feel that if you did pass it off his weaker side, that it could potentially give the ball away. And I guess as well, another bit to his cons is his league links. Although he can link up to the likes of Promes, which you saw in the last video, there's not much variety. Again, sort of similar to Pizzi. They can link up to some different players, like your Van Dijks, your Frankie de Jongs, etc. But it doesn't really give you much variety in terms of actually trying to link them in, unless you have a full nation of that, or unless you get a strong link to the likes of Promes, Van Bergen, stuff like that. So I guess he is a solid midfielder for the start, but unless you can sort of link him in with a squad, maybe like surround him with the likes of Depay, Bergwijn, Wijnaldum, etc., to get him in there, I'd say he's probably good. Yeah, just good for the start, get you through the divisions. But I can see, unless he gets an upgrade in the future, or he gets a promo card, that this card probably won't last that long for the start. But as the time goes on, he'll probably get really cheap. So I'd suggest still picking him up, especially for the if they do icon swaps this year. And now with our third midfielder, we look at Matheus Jr., recently moved to Atletico Madrid from Hertha Berlin. So as you can see here, he has good height, standing at again a 6'2", 6'3". Really good for winning the balls in the midfield and holding up play as well. As you can see, this being used more as a cam rather than a CM or DM. Obviously he has good 4-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves. Again, to add on to that really good agility he's got this year with 84 dribbling. To have that and have the 4-star, it makes it really viable to be used when linking up the play, maybe to a 2-striker formation, or spreading the play out to wingers, 4-3-3s, etc., or 4-4-2s, getting the ball up there, or 4-2-3-1. And also, having his high-low work rates means he's just going to sit there with the strikers, almost like having a third striker up there. If you're playing a two-striker formation, or he'll play as a second striker, depending on what formation you're using. He has good pace with the 85 pace. Obviously, having a quick cam is always good to keep bombing up and down the field. Just again, link up the play. That's all it is on this game. Really, it's just linking play up, trying to get everyone involved, and trying to give you as much passing options, keep everyone moving, and with his stats showing his physicals, and his good shooting as well. Like, I mean, he's quite all-rounded. I couldn't really see much wrong with him. Now moving to La Liga, he's also got good league links to the likes of Lorente, João Felix, etc. Being Atletico Madrid, they'll give you some strong links. And also got good nation links like Brazil. You know what it's like. If you want to link him up with the likes of Eder Militao now, have a strong link there, you can. Vinicius Junior, you can. And then also, I'd say his cons are that he can't play that centre mid, centre mid DM role, because he's so much more like a cam or a striker. So I'd say that's the only con, but other than that, he's a brilliant card, so I definitely suggest trying to pick him up at the start of the game if you have the coins. With that being said, let's move on to the fourth midfielder. So now moving on to the fourth midfielder, we have Emery Chan. Still the same card pretty much as last year, with a few minor upgrades, which also make his card look really, really attractive this year. So as you can see, he's got the high work rates, which are what you want for a CM or CDM, just running back and forth, especially with his high physical. From last year, I believe he had 88 stamina on his base card, so I can't see that being any different from this year. So having something like that, especially in the midfield at the start of the game, especially when you're running down the clock and time's running out and not many of the base cards have great stamina, having someone with great stamina, especially in the midfield, can carry you in games sometimes. He's now got a bit of a dribbling boost to 80 dribbling, which also makes him really agile on the ball, which is nice. He also has decent shooting, so again, like with the likes of Matheus Junior, having that good shooting means that although he might be playing as a centre mid or CDM, if you need him to come up and shoot, he can play as a sort of roaming midfielder alongside a two-side formation, so you have more of a defensive and then maybe play him, or in a free midfielder formation, you might have two that sort of sit back, he sort of comes a bit forward. He has decent passing this year, so he's got 78, which is a bit of a boost. Obviously, passing midfielders, you need it. So, having that 4-star weak foot as well. Again, you can sort of pass the ball off, and you don't feel sort of afraid of where the ball's going to go, or you trust his passing. He has, obviously he has great defending this year. Is what you need. So he's got 84 defending, which is a boost from what he had last year. And he just seems like a pretty much all-rounded sort of centre midfielder or a CDM, and I can't really see much else wrong with him. Like, he has great physicals, got 87 this year. He has good league links because he can link to the likes of Haaland, he can link to the likes of Royce, he can link to the likes of Julian Brandt, like just players in his team that sort of go around. Kanji's got a boost this year, so you can link to him. He's got Schultz. Like, even though Sanchez not there this year. But, if he was there, he would have had the likes of Sanchez. Like, Dortmund have a crazy good team. And also, just with the likes of, you can link to anyone in the Bundesliga. So you've got Lacroix, you've got, Baku, you've got Mbabu. There's so many good players this year. I can't say, like, Bundesliga might be a league to watch, I'm not going to lie. So, although having good league links, you also got good nation links. So, again, with most of these players, you can just link them together. Like, you can link to Klosterman and get a strong link. And Klosterman's got 85 pace. I think Lacroix's got like 88 pace. So although Lacroix is French, it's just, again, the league, nations, Bundesliga is definitely a league to watch out for. And I'm so glad, they're making leagues more viable this year, and more usable. The only con that I can really find in him is that he has 3-star skill moves. And like I've said before, you kind of want a midfielder that, can be agile, be moving. But again, I think Emery Chan's going to be your guy. I'd say he's probably like a German Kante. Just, he sits there, he just sort of does the dirty work while, the rest of your players sort of move the ball around. He'll just go get the ball, pass it off, does all the simple stuff, and then you just move from there. But with all that being said, can't praise this card enough. So with that, we'll move on to the final midfielder for this video. And moving on to the final midfielder, there was never going to be an OP midfielders video without having the likes of Ronaldo Sanchez in here. We saw what he was like last year, especially with Lille winning the league. He's got a little boost up, which is really nice. So, you know, he's got high work rates, which, you know, again, with the previous Emery high, just bombed up and down the field. He's got great dribbling to hold onto that ball, be agile. He's got decent shooting, so again, he can sort of try and put the ball in the back in there, but it, you know, doesn't have to. You can just sit there as the kind of guy who makes the plays. You know, he's got decent passing. It's enough to sort of get you through games, which is always great. He's got great pace this year. You know, having that 80 pace to bomb up and down the field, especially now we've had the centre backs are getting faster. You know, you just need that sort of midfielder maestro just to move the ball as quickly as possible. He's got great physicals this year, being 84. So he's like some stamina, jumping, aggression is all going to go up. You know, he's got 4-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves, which is always great. Like I said, I've been preaching it throughout this video. Having those makes a card so much more valuable to you and your team. And he has good nation links. You know, again with Portugal, you know, you can link in the likes of, you know, Bruno Fernandes. You can link in the likes of, you know, Ruben Diaz, Ricardo Pereira, etc. Although, you know, there's not many you can fit in. The players that you can get with him and get a soft link at least is always really good. I'd say the only cons I found about him was his height, being 5'9". But again, if you just partner up with a big man, get the big man to win the balls in the air, get the ball down to him, and then he can move the ball. And then I guess the last thing is his league links. Obviously, he's got the links of, you know, the likes of Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, but they're only soft links. And you know, Ligue 1, apart from that, really doesn't have that many good like league links to other little players apart from the likes of Jonathan David. But again, they're probably going to come as a 2, and I don't know if they're going to be expensive at the start of the game, but I think as the weeks kind of go on, this card will kind of drop, just depending on how people earn their coins this year, because obviously we don't have the placement matches, which you can see in one of my prior videos where I talk about the guide to starting FIFA Ultimate Team. But yeah, with that all being said, these are my midfielders for the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to slap a like, comment and subscribe if I missed anyone out, and with all that being said, look after yourselves, look after your loved ones. Peace.